A lot of Bremerton home buyers think they just bought a safe and affordable home, and then their payment jumps after closing. And it has nothing to do with the interest rate. When you look at what home buyers are experiencing across Bremerton right now, a clear pattern shows up. And that's why in this video, I'm breaking down why there is a sticker shock after closing and why the payment's going up, the Kitsap County trap that makes it worse here, especially for relocators and VA home buyers, and how to model the real monthly cost up front so you don't get hit with an escrow shortage letter 6 to 12 months later. I'm Cassandra Lopez. I help buyers and sellers move in and out and all around Bremerton and Kitsap County, Silverdale, Seaback, Port Orchard, Poulsbo, and all the surrounding areas. And my job is to help you sort out all the stuff that doesn't come up during your doom scroll before it costs you real money. Let's start with the Bremerton backdrop. Because this market and this area still looks really affordable on paper, especially when compared to major metros like Seattle or LA or San Diego or New York or some of these other really expensive places. And that's exactly why buyers get comfortable with it right before their payment changes. So for example, January of 2026 is zip code 98337, which is downtown Bremerton. That's going to be right near the ferry and the shipyard. Median sales price in Bremerton was $435,000 in January of 2026. And that includes homes, condos, manufactured homes and parks, kind of the whole thing. So when we look at that, buyers are like, okay, this is not like $1 million market. I'm not going to buy my first entry-level home and it's going to cost me $1 million. And while that's true, that $435,000 was just an average. The Northwest MLS stats showed that for January of 2026, that same month, the different zip codes within Bremerton, so 98337, that average sales price was $368,000. So that's well below the citywide 435. However, right next door in 9310, which is East Bremerton, including Manette, it was $442,000. And then just up the road in 98311, which is East Central Kitsap, it was $515,000. So now you can start to see when you break it down neighborhood by neighborhood, it's going to be a different kind of home, a different kind of home buyer, and a home seller that can demand different pricing depending on their location. But it's not just those pricing differences. It's a monthly math problem. So because as those locations change, so does your tax district and your tax exposure all change. Your insurance premiums change based on zip codes and locations. And then ultimately what is going to be collected at closing to go into your escrow account, which will pay your taxes and insurance over the course of the year if they're built into your monthly payment. So why this matters for the rest of this video, it's because the price you see at closing on your closing disclosure is not going to be the price that is set in stone. The monthly payment that's on your closing disclosure at closing can change because your taxes and insurance can change. When your taxes and insurance are included in your payment, it's called your PITI payment, your PITI, principal, interest, taxes, insurance. So your principal and interest are fixed most of the time. If it's a fixed rate mortgage, your principal and interest will never change for the life of your loan until you pay it off. The taxes and insurance on the other end will change depending on your property taxes and your homeowner's insurance premiums. So now that you have the backdrop, let's kind of talk about what's happening behind the scenes with that homeowner's insurance and property tax situation, your escrow accounts, and then how that could maybe see a shortage down the road. So this is the property tax and valuation update problem that we see across the board that especially if you're a first-time home buyer, you're not going to see coming. Well, buyers assume that at closing, whatever their assessed tax is for that tax year is just going to be what it is. That's it for infinity. But as we all know, taxes never stay the same. They always go up. Washington State requires properties to be assessed at 100% of fair and true value. So assessed values can move as market values moves. And if you notice that distinction, assessed values are not the same thing as market value. Market value is what a ready, willing, and able buyer is willing to pay for your home, whereas assessed value is essentially what the assessor's office at the county bases your property taxes off of. And here in Kitsap County, assessed value is 99.9% of the time below market value, which is a good thing, which means your taxes are based off that lower assessed value versus that higher market value. This matters because even though market value is higher than assessed value, as market value goes up, assessed value is going to follow it. So we have assessed value going up as property values increase, ergo increasing your property taxes. And different districts where the location of your house matters because different districts assess and levy property taxes differently. So you could be living in a place that has really high property taxes like Bainbridge Island, or you should be living in a place with really low property taxes like Port Orchard. Higher assessed value does not mean that your property taxes are going to double. I'm sure they've doubled over a number of years, like 10 or so, but Washington State has levy limits and rate mechanics that kind of govern this whole thing that are going to restrict how much your property taxes can increase at one time. Homeowners insurance is another one of those necessary evils that is constantly getting more and more expensive as well. Here in Washington State, we're still fortunate to benefit from several big companies that still service Washington, so that's good, which means that premiums can kind of stay down versus, one company having a monopoly. Homeowners insurance premiums are affected by things like the costs to repair or replace a home in like the case of a catastrophe or whatever. So like if lumber is really expensive, I don't know if you remember 3-4 years ago, lumber was through the roof. The Consumer Federation of America report indicated that between 2021 and 2024, there was a massive increase in homeowner premiums. That's nationwide, not just specific to Kitsap County. I'm not saying that every policy doubles. Your policy is not going to double year over year. I'm just saying the trend has been in a linear upward direction, so you can predict that that's going to continue and affect your monthly payment. So if you have your taxes and insurance buffered into your payments, so you have principal, interest, taxes, insurance, the taxes and insurance are held in what's called an escrow account, and your loan servicer, whoever you pay your mortgage to, is going to pay your insurance on your behalf once a year and pay your taxes, your property taxes, on your behalf twice a year, because in Washington State, property taxes are due April 30th and October 31st, so twice a year. So what the insurance shortage letter is, they're going to anticipate an increase in your premiums for your insurance and or an increase in your property taxes. And they're going to send you a letter and say, hey, your current monthly payment doesn't support your new taxes and insurance, so you're short by $500, right, to fill the escrow account, because they need to have a buffer in there all the time too. So whatever your property taxes and insurances are that they pay out every year, they're going to want like 2.5 months of that in reserves, just hanging out in the account just because. But they're going to send you a letter and say, hey, your escrow account is short by say $500. So you can either make a lump sum of $500 to restock your escrow account, which would not affect your monthly payment, would stay the same, or you can take that $500, spread it out over the next 12 months. So whatever 500 divided by 12 is, and that would be now in addition to your monthly payment. So your monthly payment would go up by that much. Those are two options. Now, specific to like the first year after you buy a home. So say that home has not been sold for 20 years. It's, built in early 2000s, never been on the market before. It's the first time it's being sold. So the county assessor's office, they don't come inspect your house every year. They just kind of estimate what they think your house is worth just based on paper, right? Like they might send someone out every 5 or 7 years to take a picture of the front of the house. They might do an inspection during like a remodel or something like that. But for the most part, they're going to be pretty hands off. So it's fair to say that when that house sells after 20 years of not being on market, the assessor's office is going to be a little bit behind in what that assessed value actually is. So when a property sells, it goes right through the assessor's office all over again. It's reevaluated at that new market value all over again. And your property taxes are going to probably take a significant hike in that first year. So whatever it is when you buy it, say it's that $4,000 a year when you buy it, it could be $4,900 the next year because it was reassessed at the brand new current value. Does that make sense? And this is seen nowhere as obvious and as significant as in new construction. And we'll get to that that in just a little bit. So if you go to Kitsap County's website, it's kitsapgov.com, you can actually do a parcel search, and you can search based on voting districts and levy districts and tax districts and all these things. If you like to nerd out to this stuff, you can totally go in the rabbit hole and like down to the street what tax district that home is in. So if that is something that's really, really important to you in terms of like what location you're going to buy your home in, it's there for you. You can go check it out. Kitsap County states that the levy rate on your tax bill statement is the total of each taxing district levy rate. So however many levies are going on in your district. For example, there might be one for your school, there might be one for your library, there might be one for your first responders. So all of these are going to factor into your total tax bill. So, you get to be a part of that democratic system, which is great. And that's what our whole country was founded on. So yay that we're still doing that. However, you just have to do that with the knowledge of, if this levy passes, my property taxes are probably going to go up. Now, it's not significant. They'll break it down like to the, thousandth dollar. So like for every $1,000 of value of your house, your property taxes will go up like 4 cents. Like it's pretty nominal, right? At that one event. But year over year and, levy after levy, it just starts adding up over time. So you can just anticipate that your property taxes will continue to go up. On a positive note about property taxes, so the more of these levies that we pass for like community services and things, like Central Kitsap, I know, just finished renovating or rebuilding entirely like tons of fire stations. So all the fire stations are now brand new, state-of-the-art equipment, super great response time because they added ones where there weren't ones. And so that is like a real world example of what your property taxes are going to. And I think you could agree that that benefits everybody. In addition, schools is a big thing. I have kiddos in school, so I always tend to pass school levies and that sort of thing in my district. But you can kind of see like Bainbridge Island has the highest property taxes in the county. They also have like one of the #1 school districts in the entire country. So they go a long way if they're spent correctly. I think that's the catch-all, right? If it's managed correctly, it could do good. If you're buying a house near the water, this could be a make or break for you because flood insurance is a thing. Regular homeowners insurance does not cover floods in most cases. They might cover like if your basement flooded because a pipe broke, that's different. I think we're talking floods here from like a natural disaster, a river or something like that. So we are, Kitsap County has thousands of miles, maybe hundreds of miles of waterfront property. And all of that waterfront is either Puget Sound, so like Hood Canal, Port Washington Narrows, Port Orchard Bay, all of these things. There's also lakefront. We have tons of lakes around here. So Kitsap Lake, Wildcat Lake, Lake Tahuya, all of these lakefront properties. And then we have tons of streams and creeks and rivers all over the place too. So all of these would be considered waterfront, right? And you can tell pretty easily if it's in a FEMA flood zone or not. We have software available to us where you just like, it's integrated within our MLS. So within the property specifics of a listing, we can see just as a tab, so we can see it super easy. But you as a consumer can also go to like the FEMA flood map and enter the address, and it'll print out this really great descriptor of if it's in a flood zone, if it's not in a flood zone, if it is, what kind of flood zone, and all these sorts of things. So all kinds of super helpful information, but flood insurance is really expensive. It's like 5 times more expensive than regular homeowners insurance. So that is something to budget for and to factor in if you're financing a waterfront property. If you're paying cash, you're not required to get any insurance, but obviously it would behoove you to protect your asset. So just food for thought, something to consider. Okay, we're going to talk about new construction for a second because I get a ton of out of area buyers looking to buy new construction for all the reasons you might think of, right? It's a brand new house, super low maintenance. I don't know the area. I don't want to have to worry about putting on a new roof. I have small kids. I need peace of mind, all these things, right? And all of those are totally legit. Here's the deal. If you're buying new construction, the builder's lender will often offer some incentives to make it more affordable for you. So they'll offer you a rate buy down or an appliance package or some kind of incentive that benefits the home buyer to get them to buy their house, right? If you are only going to be living here for 2 to 3 years, don't buy new construction if you're only going to be here for like 2 to 3 years, especially if the builder's in the last phase. And the reason is is you're gonna buy a new construction at the very, very tippy top of the market. And if you have to turn around and sell it in 2 years, you're gonna be underwater in your mortgage. There's no way you're gonna have paid off enough of that principal to walk away with a check at closing. So what does this have to do with your payment? Property taxes for new construction are only an estimate because the builder bought it as raw land. So according to the assessor's office, it's only being assessed as raw land. Now, when that home closes, now it's going to go through the assessor's office. They're going to have somebody come out and probably take a picture of the front of your house. And now your tax bill the next year is going to be whatever market tax bill there. So your lender is going to estimate whatever they think it might going to be. And they may be right. They may be over, which means your obligations will go down, which is good, but they may be under, which might also be the case. So they're going to estimate, say you're buying a new construction for $500,000 and they're going to estimate your tax bill be $5,000 for the year. So that's what they're going to factor into your payment. Well, the next year, your tax bill may come back at like $6,500. Like, who knows, right? Like, it just depends on the location. If you're buying up in Poulsbo, well, property taxes are going to be high. If you're buying on Bean Ridge, taxes are going to be high. So if they underestimate how much your taxes are going to be, that's going to be a very rude sticker shock when your tax bill comes in for the next year. And again, you're going to get that escrow shortage letter saying, hey, you're short by $1,500. We can add that to your payment over the next 12 months. So now your monthly payment's going up by, $108 or whatever it is. The good news is that your home is an appreciable asset. And while it is your shelter, it's an appreciating vehicle. So, if you hold on to it long enough, you're going to come out ahead in the end. So that's the good news. But in the short term, that's going to be a pretty rude sticker shock. But if the market trends keep going up and up like they have been, like we're expecting them to, we're not expecting a crash. So we can assume your property taxes are also going to go up and up, which means that you're going to get an escrow shortage every year. And if you don't pay that in bulk, it's going to be added to your payment every year. Your payment's just going to go up and up. I will tell you that one year I had an escrow shortage letter and I always pay it in full. I don't add it to my monthly payment. But what happened was their estimate of my shortage was short. So even though I paid it in full, my monthly payment still went up. It's only by like $20. So it wasn't, it was pretty nominal. So that happened to me. It wasn't catastrophic, but it did happen. So just be aware that can happen too. I have this really great relocation guide that breaks down all the different areas, the median prices and family incomes and this sort of thing. So you can kind of see which way taxes would trend towards. And it's in the link in the description, the first link there. So go ahead into the description and download my relocation guide. You can learn all about that. If you're buying and selling in Bremerton or Kitsap County or anywhere, Silverdale, Port Orchard, Poulsbo, Seaback, or any of the surrounding areas in 2026 and want to do your best to avoid that escrow shortage letter, reach out before you write the offer. If you're working with me, we're going to be in close contact anyway. If you're working with another agent and need a second opinion, I'm always happy to offer. I will help you model the payment the way it needs to be modeled, set up your proper expectations for the years to come while you're paying down your mortgage, and hopefully be able to answer the right tax questions for you. Even though I'm not a tax professional, I have some really great firsthand experience in paying property taxes, and then guide you with some insurance options as well, so you can explore all of those options so you're getting the right coverage for the right premium with the right company. I'm Cassandra Lopez. I help buyers and sellers relocate all over Kitsap County to make clear, low drama decisions based on real data.